Okay, now that your text has been projected down to the surface, and I'll show you that, let's dynamic rotate it. There we go, we can see it's on the surface. I'll click isometric to get back to it. Now we're actually going to do a toolpath of the surface. So to do this, we need to go machine type, mill. We'll select what machine we're using. We're using the generic Haas 4-axis right now. And then we want to turn on our operations manager. And to do this, we can go view, toggle operations manager, or we can click Alt-O on our keyboard. Next, we will go to toolpaths, and then since it's not very thick that we're cutting and we're going to use a pretty big tool, we're going to go finish and then parallel, and this is like a refinement feature. Just say OK, it'll be fine. Now if you want to change the name, say OK. Now it says select drive surfaces. Well, we're going to be cutting out the surface down here. Now on a previous exercise we automatically selected the chain for default, so it won't let me select the surface. So we need to come up here and click on standard selection, and then it'll automatically snap to whatever we can. So I'm going to select the surface, say end selection by clicking on the green sphere. Now we have one surface selected, just how we want, and let's say OK. Now we get our operations manager is selected or open. So now we'll right mouse click in this area and go tool manager, and we're going to come over here and go to our filter. We're going to make sure that only a ball or sphere end mill is selected. Turn on our filter, and now we can select, say, maybe a 3/8 or a half. I'm going to select a 1/2 inch ball end mill. Bring that up there. Alright, so now in tool path parameters, we need to of course set our tool number. This is the first tool I'm using, so I'm going to call it tool 1. And length offset 1, those two are very important. Next I'm going to come down and set my feed rate to say 20 inches a minute. This is, it's a big tool, so we can push it pretty well. And run it up to 4,000 RPM, rapid retract, and then turn on the coolant. There we go. And once that's done, let's check out surface parameters. Nothing really to change in here. Go to finish parallel parameters. Now here, your step over is important. The smoother we want it, the smaller that's going to be. I'm going to set it to 0.02. This is a pretty big bit, so it doesn't need to be as small, but we'll try it at 0.02. Zigzag, so it'll go back and forth and save you a little time. Say OK. Now it's building the toolpath. It built it, but we just can't see it. So I'm going to go to verify and see what this looks like. We'll hit play. It's going back and forth cutting it. You can see in here they're very, very small lines, so they're just really close together. And with the surface, it leaves it kind of smooth. So we'll let this go a little bit. It looks like we kind of hit some video limits, but let's stop it there. We already made it. It's done.